LeJon Woods. Hi, I'm Nye McGee with EUR Web. Thank you for speaking to me about your very exciting horror film, The Hangman. I watched it this morning, and then, even before I watched the film, I saw the trailer, and I was like, this is different. I gotta watch this. What's going on? They got the brother in the woods running from these racists, and this
Right.
is craziness. And there's a rope around his neck. I gotta watch this. What is? Well, I know you are obviously the star and the co-writer of this film. So, what inspired you to create or co-create The Hangman, and what themes or messages were you hoping to explore with this project?
Fantastic. Well, first and foremost, now thank you for having me. I truly appreciate you and your time. Thank you for watching as well. I have worked with Bruce Wimple, the director, in some previous projects. Probably The Hangman is probably my seventh film with him, and he approached me and said, "Hey, I got an idea for a man who was goes to on a camera trip with his son and ends up losing his son," and I was already intrigued with that to begin with. This also being my first role as a lead character was also intriguing. But when you sprinkle in the element of me, I'm also a father. I'm a current father. I have a 19-year-old son, a 15-year-old daughter. Bruce is a dad as well. And it's like, it's already scary to lose your child. The concept, the thought of even losing your child. Then when you sprinkle in the elements of some racism and some locals who aren't too fond of these guys being around here, it just made it just heightened the situation and made the role so attractive. And I was just grateful to be a part of it.
Relationship between the father and son is central to this story.
Well, one thing for certain, in the Black community, we try to strive as far as having better communication and having better relationships and dealing with trauma and things like that. And I think everybody, it doesn't have to be a Black thing. White families, Hispanic families, you name it. There's always something within our families that we probably try to sweep under the rug or disregard and things like that. And one thing I love about this film is it addresses, hey, we need to talk about that. We need to address that. And again, in my own family, I've had those obstacles and whatnot. So that part and drawing on those experiences in my personal family, my personal life, made it easy to address this role as Leon with family trauma and having to look it right in the face and deal with it, or deal with the consequences of the locals and or the hangman. So that meant a lot to me, and it made it easy because um, it's something that means a lot to me as a father, as a man, to address the realities of a circumstance, to communicate. Because I think it just makes things. I think it makes life so much easier to deal with and to makes it easier to just exist. If that makes sense.
Absolutely. So here's the thing, as a viewer, I'm watching it, and I'll say this hopefully without spoiling anything for our readers later who watch this. But
Oh,
you know how when people watch horror movies, we scream at the TV like, "What's going on?" So when your
are
boy
you one of
goes
those
missing,
now?
and oh my god, I was watching this like, where when your character's walking down the road after your boy goes missing, and the Confederate flag pickup truck pulls up, I'm like, where in the world did this man take his son camping? So I know that this Hangman series, or movie I should say, it takes place, if my notes are correct, in rural Appalachia, a setting known for its haunting atmosphere. So how did you use the location to enhance the film's tone and atmosphere?
Um, I was joking earlier about how Black folks don't go camping and everything. So so that part made it pretty easy. We want to destroy that myth. We do go camping. We probably just go camping in places that we shouldn't go. but it made it easy to get into that world, to get into that mental mindset of, man, these dudes are in a location that they probably shouldn't be, and and given the circumstances of not being able to know where his son is, it's gonna make it even more difficult being in the deep woods and everything, given the circumstance. It creates so much fear. And it's so vulnerable. And like that particular scene you're talking about, what else was Leon going to do? I mean, hey, I got nothing. He has nothing. He's has no idea where his son is. If it was a talking squirrel, he would have listened. It just he's so vulnerable in that moment. So had no choice, and that's what makes it so scary because it's a no choice circumstance, and it's willing to do whatever it takes to get his son back.
The film obviously features a local cult and a malevolent demon known as the Hangman, obviously. So can you discuss how you developed with your co-writer these elements and the role they play in the story? Is the Hangman based on any old legends, any myths, local myths in the area that you filmed in?
The director Bruce Whipple, he'll tell you that as a child he and his mom would play the game The Hangman, and as he got older, he realized, damn, this is kind of a messed up game, you know. So he takes a game that is such a classic game that we played as kids, and then infuses that with a father and son, and and this character is just created of how of this demoness, this evil, bloodthirsty, sinister character based upon that game, based upon the childhood game and experience, and just created this monster type guy who is just filled with pain and hurt, and that's what made this film so awesome. That's what made the dynamic as far as Leon and Jesse, Leon and his son, because they were filled both with so much pain and hurt, and it matched the energy of the Hangman. So that's the origin of the character. It's from the actual game itself.
So as both a co-writer and star of the film, what was it like balancing those roles, right, during production, and how did it influence your approach to the storytelling?
It was fantastic, and one thing that you're going to hear me talk about a lot is the team. The team made it easy. The team made it easy to wear those multiple hats is on this film because everybody was so down for the cause. Everybody was so down for the entire objective and the mission and the goals that we had for this film. So much hard work, and being a father and having my experiences with my kids and everything, that's what made it gave me so much pride to tell the story, to tell a story about this relationship. Because this, as much as this is a horror film, I like to sprinkle in the fact that it's a love story and a love between an unconditional, unequivocal love between a father and son, and that part made it so interesting for me to get into it, and it made it so enjoyable for me to partake in it and to go through the whole process because I love that dynamic. I love the dynamic of just showing that there's nothing that can separate the bond and that can divide the bond between a loving father and his child. And again, the team made it so easy to dive into this. I'm so grateful for everybody.
I feel like this film plays up a lot of fears that people would have in this situation, right? Getting lost on a camping trip, losing a loved one, especially a kid, running into a demon, running into a cult, running into white supremacists. It's the full
Yeah.
package. So, I mean, you just spoke on being a dad, but outside of that, does this fear play on, excuse me, does this film play up or play on any fears that you have? I imagine losing your child would be one of them, but are there any others?
Oh, absolutely. Losing a child is first and foremost. Feeling helpless, feeling absolutely helpless for your child in a vulnerable moment. Feeling like there's nothing that you can do, and you don't even know who to trust, and who can you turn to. And as you speak about that, one thing I love about the film is it speaks on unfortunate realities, but realities of our world. You know, and like you said, talk about the supremacists and things like that. I mean, yeah, that's the conversation that none of us really want to talk about. But let's not act like it. Let's not act like these things don't exist. And so, therefore, when you put yourself mentally into this film and put yourself into Leon and Jesse's world, it's just like, whoa, this is some scary stuff, man. And this could be, this has been, not could be, this has been people's reality. Minus the Hangman, which I hope has never taken place in our world. But yeah, the things that Leon and Jesse had to go through has been people's reality. And that is very scary. And that part, living through what you can say ancestors or just our past past lives and everything, that part made it was tough to dive into it, but it gave it appreciation to portray the character, if that makes sense. So yeah, the fears, those realistic fears, man, made it difficult, yet at the same time gave pride to go through with it. The fact that it's a fun film that people really, really, really work their tails off to bring to light, and it's a story. I hope they take away just the fact that you can have a horror film you can have fun with it, and you can tell a story about genuine trauma and genuine life circumstances, and have levity in it all in one. And that's one thing I definitely hope that viewers take away from this film and just enjoy the ride that Leon goes on.